Man, South African politics is funny. You remember last week when there was a huge hoo-ha about Ace Magashule making the big announcement. I remember the newsrooms, the SABCs of this world, every hour keep on saying, man, we are waiting for Ace Magashule's big announcement. Ace Magashule is going to announce something today. But if you could go online, people could easily guess that Ace Magashule is going to announce that he's going to work with Jacob Zuma. And to show you how predictable these people are, Ace Magashule actually went out and announced that he's going to work with Jacob Zuma. There was no need for Ace Magashule to make people wait for such a long time when people could easily predict what he's going to say. In that whole hoo-ha, Ace Magashule did a press conference. But there's something that Ace Magashule said. Man, people did not entertain this. People did not entertain this, man. I waited for the whole week. I also waited for the news to see if, man, these people are actually going to speak about what Ace Magashule actually spoke about. But no one spoke about it. I know people are saying, Thomas, what the hell are you talking about? Guys, I want you to listen to what Ace Magashule said. During his announcement of MK Party working with his party, African Congress for Transformation, Ace Magashule said something, and this is what he said.
We are going to win. We are going to win elections. Very confident. There's not going to be any rigging.
There's not going to be any rigging
Of elections. Our eyes are going to be open because we know. I've been part of the ANC. We know what's going to happen. We are going to win. We are going to win elections. Very confident. There's not going to be any rigging of elections. Our eyes are going to be open because we know. I've been part of the ANC. We know what's going to happen. And all as black parties, we have met and we have agreed that we are not going to allow any elections to be rigged.
Have you rigged elections before while you were still in the ANC?
No. Now that you see what the ANC is saying, it says if ANC is not in power, people are not going to get their social grants.
He is deflecting. He is deflecting from the question. The question was, have you guys rigged the elections before? Ace Magashule comes out and says that, guys, there's not going to be any rigging because we know how the ANC operates. I told you guys that MK, Ace Magashule, probably EFF, these people are gearing up to deny the election results. These people are not going to accept the election results. You look at Ace Magashule, you look at Jacob Zuma, both of these people, man, they have a huge support. They have huge support. Unlike some of these people, man, that are making political moves, the Kalniases of this world, those people, they don't have constituents. You see people like Andile Mkutama, those people, they don't have constituents. But when you talk about Jacob Zuma and when you talk about Ace Magashule, you talk about people who actually has influence. Whether you love Ace Magashule or you hate Ace Magashule, come to the Free State. People in the Free State, they love Ace Magashule. For what? I don't know. I live in the Free State. I don't like Ace Magashule. But people in the Free State, they love Ace Magashule. You go to KZN, whether you love Jacob Zuma or you hate Jacob Zuma, people in the KZN, they love Jacob Zuma. These people are gearing up to deny the election results because there's no way Ace Magashule can come out and say that there won't be any election rigging because I know how the ANC operates. Our eyes are going to be wide open. There's not going to be any rigging of the elections while we are here. The question was, have you guys rigged the elections before? Were you any part of rigging the elections when you were still in the African National Congress? No. You can hear the ANC says, if people don't vote for the African National Congress, they are going to lose their social grants. That is not the question. That is not the question. The question is, has the ANC rigged the elections before? Was Ace Magashule actually trying to signal something to South Africans? Was Ace Magashule telling South Africans that, guys, we are not going to accept the election results? Because to me, it sounds like it. To me, it sounds like Ace Magashule says that, guys, I was within the African National Congress. I know these people used to rig the elections, but now because I'm not the member of the African National Congress, I'm not going to stand here and allow the African National Congress to rig the elections. I know how these people operate. How can South Africans miss that? How can South Africans miss that, man? I remember on my conspiracy theory days, I came on this platform and I said, guys, I can see some of the political parties, they're already gearing up to deny the election results. Julius Malema has already said it, that the organizations that are working with the IEC, those people that are being paid by the government, so those people, man, there's no way they're going to allow free and fair elections. So even the EFF has already hinted at them denying the election results. Now Magashule is telling you that, guys, there won't be any rigging of the elections because we know how the African National Congress operates. I remember when people saying that, Thomas, you are talking nonsense. You are talking nonsense. There won't be any rigging of the elections in South Africa. There won't be any denying of the election results. Guys, prepare yourselves. You must prepare yourselves and brace yourselves. Some of the political parties in South Africa, they are not going to accept the election result. And it looks like Jacob Zuma, Magashule, Julius Malema, chances are these people are not going to accept the election results. So what do you think is going to happen in the country if these people actually deny the election results? Do you think that we're simply going to live as normal, everything is still going to be okay with the EFF denying the election results, with the ACT denying the election results, with Jacob Zuma denying the election results? Do you think that is going to be a smooth sail? Our people are not paying attention, man. People are not paying attention. Magashule just threw this there. And he denied to answer the question. He denied to answer the question because he knows what the question means. He knows what the question means. But I think he knows that by saying this one line or two lines, I've already communicated my message to the people. I've already told South Africans that the African National Congress rigs the elections. And now we are not going to allow the ANC to rig the elections. That is what Magashule was actually telling South Africans. But people still missed it.
We are going to win elections. Very confident. There's not going to be any rigging of elections. Our eyes are going to be open because we know.
I mean, guys, do you think Magashule can wake up one day and simply decide to speak about the ANC and rigging the elections and them not accepting ANC rigging the elections? Magashule can simply wake up one morning and say that they are gearing up to deny the election results. They are gearing up to deny the election results. Guys, after the elections of this year, man, we're going to have turbulences in South Africa. I'm telling you, we're going to have turbulences in South Africa simply because the people of this country have decided to turn the blind eye or decided not to listen. I remember I've heard this a week ago, man. I've said that, man, I'm going to react to this video. But there was so much content that I could do. I actually forgot about this video because, you know, sometimes when Jacob Zuma knows how to actually dominate the news. If you're not careful, man, you can make 10 videos about Jacob Zuma. If you're not careful. Because there's so much revolving around Jacob Zuma. I thought people were actually going to talk about this thing that Magashule said that the ANC used to rig the elections. I'm not going to tiptoe around this thing. This is what basically Magashule said. The ANC used to rig the elections. Now that I'm out of the African National Congress, I know how these people operate. I am not going to allow these people to rig the elections. What do you think is going to happen after the elections?
We are going to win elections. Very confident. There's not going to be any rigging of elections. Our eyes are going to be open because we know. I've been part of the ANC. We know what's going to happen. And all as black parties, we have met and we have agreed that we are not going to allow any elections to be rigged.
All as black parties, we have come together and we are not going to allow any elections to be rigged. As black parties, we came together and said we are not going to accept the election results. We know how the African National Congress operates. Jacob Zuma, you were the president of the ANC. I was the Secretary General of the ANC. We know how the ANC operates. We have come together. We have decided to come together. And we are not going to accept the election results. Guys, these people are not going to accept the election results. They are not going to accept the election results. There's going to be chaos after the elections in South Africa. There's going to be chaos. Guys, brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. There's going to be chaos in South Africa after the election results. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be chaos. Whether we choose to pay attention to what Magashule said, or whether you simply take Magashule, man, I know many people do not take Magashule serious. Even if you don't take Magashule serious, but this man was the Secretary General of the African National Congress. When he tells you that I know what happens within the ANC, he knows what happens within the ANC. When he tells you that all of us have come together and decided that we are not going to allow any rigging of the elections, it tells you that Magashule, Jacob Zuma, Andile Mqitama, and some of the political parties that are going to join that whole MK caucus thing, they have decided that, man, we are not going to accept the election results simply because we know how the ANC operates. These people used to rig the results, and we are not going to accept that. We are not going to accept that. What do people think is going to happen in the country, man, if Jacob Zuma denies the elections? Guys, I'm going to speak about this again. You remember in 2021, when Jacob Zuma was rightfully thrown to jail, you remember what happened in KZN, you remember what happened in a couple of places in South Africa of Jacob Zuma supporters. You remember what happened. These people, man, they've ransacked the malls, they've burned down the infrastructure. Today, as we speak, man, we have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people who have lost their jobs simply because some people decided that Jacob Zuma is above the law. Today, you have the people, man, that are sitting at home. They are not working. These people, man, their places of work were ransacked. Their places of work were burned down by the supporters who believe that Jacob Zuma is above the law. So if Jacob Zuma comes out and says, guys, I know how the ANC operates. These election results were rigged. What do you think these people are going to do? What do you think Magashule is going to do when Magashule comes to the Free State and says, guys, the ANC has kicked me out, but I know how the ANC operates and we are not going to allow that. The ANC has rigged the elections. What if Julius Malema joins that whole train of these people and coming out and say, guys, as EFF, we were projecting to hit a 20 or 15, but now we have declined to 7%, and we believe these are the results of the election rigging. What do you think is going to happen to the country? So, guys, I'm simply going to tell you that, guys, please brace yourself for what's about to happen after the elections, because Magashule told you. He told you that I was within the African National Congress. I know how these people operate. We have decided to come together and said that, man, we are not going to accept any election rigging. They are not prepared to accept the election results. No matter what African National Congress does, no matter what Ramaphosa does, no matter what IEC does or says, these people, man, they are gearing up to deny the election results because they know. I mean, if you have to be practical, you know, if Jacob Zuma, man, fights until April or May, and ANC wins the elections and decides to step back, man, it's done with Jacob Zuma. He's already old. He's done. Even with the likes of Magashule. So now it is their only chance to actually take the fight from Cyril Ramaphosa. If they are not going to win the elections, these people are going to say the election results were rigged and there's going to be chaos within the country. I'm telling you. I came on this platform and I said, guys, many of these people, man, have already hinted at denying the election results. Many of these political parties have actually come out and said that, man, we are not going to accept these election results. EFF come out and say that, man, you know, IEC is shady. Do you know why would the EFF come out and say IEC is shady? EFF is saying IEC is shady because they are preparing to deny the election results. Jacob Zuma, Magashule, they're not going to accept the election results. They're not going to accept it.
We are going to win. We are going to win elections. Very confident. There's not going to be any rigging of elections. Our eyes are going to be open because we know. I've been part of the ANC. We know what's going to happen, and all as black parties we have met and we have agreed that we are not going to allow any elections to be rigged.
Have you rigged elections before while you were still in the ANC?
No. Now that you see what the ANC is saying.
I mean, like, this was not a clever way of Magashule to actually avoid answering the question. This was not a clever way of Magashule avoiding to answer the question, but I think Magashule knew that, man, these 2-3 lines are enough. These 2-3 lines, man, are enough to make people question that, man, did these guys rig the elections before? Was Ace Magashule part of the African National Congress when these people used to rig the elections? And that was the question. He did not answer it. It was not a clever way of actually answering the question. But Ace Magashule knew that his message was already communicated. This message was already communicated. Guys, I'm telling you today, we are going to have the elections in South Africa. Chances are, some influential politicians in South Africa, they're not going to accept the election results. And that is going to result in chaos. Guys, please tell me if you think I'm exaggerating. Please tell me if you think I'm exaggerating on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.